Just getting my beard straightened out here. I ordered some wheel well flares for my Roxer. They sent me 2 sets, so I guess I ordered it twice. I don't know. Pretty high when I order shit for the Roxer. So I'm gonna have to send one of the boxes back. But I started putting them on. They're not easy to do. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. You gotta line. They don't. The holes aren't pre-drilled. I don't know why they fucking do this, because the Roxer's got pre-drilled holes on it. If they would just put it on the pieces, you just screw it in. But you got to sit there and you can't see through the plastic to drill the holes, so it's like fucking hard to get a hole through and get it in the right spot, you know? There's not enough light, you know, and my eyesight's not that good, and I'm working underneath the fucking vehicle. It's just been, you know, I got one wheel well flare put on the front right. It looks good though, and it fits tight. You know, it's good, but I only use 3 screws to do it. They'll take like 5 or 6. But the hard part is getting the nuts in on the backside, man. It just doesn't want to go. Well, my chat, guys, I am so sorry my chat is not forwarding. Let me go ahead and refresh the chat and see if it'll connect. I don't know what happened. So I'll start it over. We'll see. Got some nice strong coffee this morning. Tastes good. Okay. Here. Okay, let's see. Oh, 19 people. Hello, 19 people. Ooh, it's not 0. Okay. That's good to know that it's not 0 people watching. Oh, that was weird. The chat just disappeared on me. I see what happened. Debbie forwarded. Hey, Debbie. Hello, hello. I'm sorry, everybody who said hello to me already. I have not seen any chat yet except for Debbie's. So if you're here, I don't know that you're here, but I know that there's 19 of you, so let me just say hello to all of you. Just a blanket hello, okay? Jonah, hey. You guys might notice the title says that white nationalists can definitely be black. Duh. All you need to look no further than Candace Owens. She's a black nationalist. Or look at someone like, a white nationalist. Or go look at you know, he's dead now, but, you know, he's dead because he was a white nationalist. His white nationalism got him killed. It makes me kind of happy. Herman Cain, he's dead. Herman Cain! Yeah, he's dead. Why? Because he chose white nationalism. He decided to support Donald Trump, go attend Trump rallies, and died of COVID. Crazy, right? Karma? I don't believe in that shit, but you call it what you want. You know, someone was said to me, how is Candace Owens a white nationalist? Because of the color of her skin? You think that stops you from having an opinion on something? You think that stops you from hating people who are the same color as you? Do you think if you're Jewish, you can't hate people who are Jews? Do you think if you're a Jew in the Nazi army, you can't fucking kill Jews? I got news for you. Happens every fucking day. What, you think if you're a black police officer, you can't fucking beat up someone because they're black? Happens every fucking day. So don't give me that bullshit that Candace Owens can't be a white nationalist because of the color of her skin. That is fucking pathetic. You still think like that? You think that people are limited by the color of the skin of the thoughts that they can have? Oh, man. That's a fucking rich one, isn't it? Oh, Mary, good, man. I'm so glad. Mari, good. Hippie chick, yes. Free Julian Assange. Dakota, what's up? Debbie, Jonah, Trove. I'm just going to block you, Trove. You're blocked from my live stream. You can go suck my dick while you're getting blocked. Matthew, Dakota, Hippie chick, my avatar, Mari, Nick Brown, hello. Jonah Lee, Truth, Nick Brown, gals. Hello, guys, gals. Connor Mumford, hello. Connor Mumford, are you Australian? I don't know. That name, Mumford, seems like it would be from outside the country. Tanya Egan agrees. Well, I'm glad you agree with me. It's nice when people agree with you, you know? It makes you feel good. Makes you feel good about sharing your opinion. And it makes you want to do it more when people agree with you. That's for sure. I think I'm going to do a crazy dab. I haven't dabbed in a while, right? Those of you guys who watch and wait for the dabs. Dude, Nez gets a dab, dude. Come out, bruh. I told you. Told you it's going to dab, dude. Dad, doing a dab, bruh. Mr. Johnson, Connor, Tanya, Kirsten, Connor. No, you're from Sydney. NS. NS. Why don't I thought Sydney was in Australia. What's NS? Sydney. Thanks, Kim. I'm doing good. Scott Root. Scott Root. Chuckles! Chuckles, what's up, buddy? Scott Root. Who is that? I don't know that name. You're right. Was Mary Smith. Just go by Mary now. Okay. It was in Mary. Okay, not Mari. It's Mary. Okay. Oh, NS is Nova Scotia. How did I not know that? I had a feeling you were outside of the country. I'm good, aren't I? Just from your last name, I'm like, Connor Mumford. That doesn't sound like an American name to me. Ah, I'm good. I'm good. I was guessing Australia, but okay, good enough. Nova Scotia, bro. You live over there where my boy lives. Sydney, Nova Scotia, bro. You're in, I just realized that you're in fucking Sydney, Nova Scotia, man. That's where, of course I know where Sydney, Nova Scotia is. Jeez, what was I thinking, man? Oh, wow. My brain, you know, my brain's a little scrambled right now. I got a little bit on my mind. I apologize for that. The Jimmy Dore show was great tonight. Oh, good. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I was working on my Rockstar. I couldn't catch it. And wasting a lot of time on that fucking thing. But, you know Frankie personally, bro? That's awesome. I know him too. That's cool. I can say that now. I don't even think about it, man. But hey, man, I know him too. He knows me. He knows me. He likes my tweets sometimes too. Yeah, we're going to be talking about things that are going on in the world. We're going to be talking about deferring opinions and accepting them. We're going to be talking about a lot of anger on the left and right, directed the opposite direction due to the upcoming election. We're going to be talking about that. You know, if the Democrats get beat by the Republicans because they picked a failing candidate and vice president pick, it's not the Republicans' fault, and don't blame it on them. You know, because they got Donald Trump, who's not a perfect candidate either, but he seems to beat everybody that gets in his fucking way. Don't blame them, man. You know, they're doing what they're doing. They're you know, a snake's gonna bite you. A snake's doing what a snake does, right? You don't blame the fucking snake. Stay away from it. All right, no law regarding cannabis. Cannabis isn't just for all. Cheers, everybody. If you guys think I'm turning right, I'm not. Okay, don't worry. Hey, Shaggy. What a dab. Let me get my brain together after that dab. That dab just kind of, whoo, that was that sweet Afghani delicious. OCD. OCD in full effect right now. I love it. So, yeah, I'm friends with a lot of people on the right now, and you know what I've noticed? They don't like my opinion. They unfollow me. You know, people on the right are just like people on the left. If you disagree with them, they stop talking to you. So it's the people that are on the right and the people on the left that are willing to have the conversations that I'm interested in finding. Because those are the ones that are anti-war. When you're talking, you're not fighting. There's a lot of people who are, you know, Republican on Twitter because they want to troll the left. I understand that. There's also a lot of far left people that are trolling the right. It goes both ways. I have a feeling that most of those people don't even vote. That they're just there for the fun because people are so fucking bored and they don't know what to do with themselves. And for some reason, trolling people on the internet is just become a national pastime. I started trolling as soon as I could troll. You know, as soon as AOL came out, America Online and chat rooms, bulletin boards, I started trolling. I started fucking with people. And I never really thought about it too much. I mean, people would call me out on it and be like, you're trolling and you're flaming and blah, 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 and all that shit. And I was like, yeah, so what? Fuck you. That's my opinion. You know, if you don't like it, fuck off. Nobody cares about my fucking opinion. Nobody cares to hear my fucking opinion. For the most part, on average, people are going to do what people are going to do. And the more you go out there and you try to push your opinion, your opposing opinion on others, the less they're going to listen to you. So I'm starting to become more of a listener, but I'm still going to moderate, man. You know, you guys come in here and say what you want, but as soon as it goes off the rails with lies, I'm gonna correct you. You know, I got no problem doing that. I do it on Twitter all day to people. I don't mind doing that either. I don't mind having the conversation with people who want to say that I'm a baby killer because I want women to have, you know, access to an abortion if they need one. Yeah, I'm a baby killer. I vote for killing babies. It's true. I do. Does that make me a bad person? Maybe it does. It's kind of up for discussion, isn't it? And it makes it challenging. That's why we need to keep on talking. You know, do you think I relish murdering babies? You think I wake up in the morning and I think, man, I'm going to try as hard as I can today to make sure that women get their rights for abortions so that more babies can die. And, I mean, where are those people? Where are the people who want the babies dead? They want the babies dead. I mean, that's why they are pro-abortion, because they hate fucking babies and they just want the babies dead. Doesn't make sense, does it? It doesn't ring true. And yet, that's the narrative coming from the right. Think about it. All people on the left that are pro-abortion are wanting to kill your baby. They want to kill your baby. They're baby killers. They're baby murderers. So I see the hypocrisy from both sides. And it's, it's vulgar as fuck. You know? That's why I'm becoming more of a listener and less of an opinionated person. It's just, I mean, I'm sticking to facts. Oh, you want to argue facts with me? Too bad. I'm not going to do it. These are the facts. I've told them to you. You're not going to shut up? Okay, now you're blocked. That's it. That's not an argument. It's not a debate. It's just me reciting what the facts are. Usually, that's what the conversations are in here. You know, and usually on Twitter, that's what, everyone mistakes my giving them facts on stuff as an attack, a personal attack on them, and trying to control them or tell them what to do with their lives. I'm getting away from that. I'm like, oh, you know, you don't. I know hashtag call it cannabis. I understand that. I am literally telling you to call it cannabis when I hashtag call it cannabis. Well, I'm going to stop doing that. I'm going to stop hashtagging call it cannabis. I'm going to still tell people why they should call it cannabis and why I call it cannabis and why everybody on my live stream calls it cannabis, and then I'll let them decide. But that seems to be working a little bit better for me, you know? I'm not getting insta-blocked as much on Twitter for having an opinion. So that works for me. As far as what's going on with the Supreme Court pick, you guys know how I feel about that. Okay? But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to tell you again, this is how I feel about the Supreme Court pick. Okay? Sucks for someone like me that supports a woman's right to have an abortion. I don't mind using those words. Okay? I'll say it. It sucks for someone like me. But you know who it really sucks for? Women who get raped, or women who need an abortion for a medical reason, or women who have to drive to another state to get an abortion, or women who are forced into having that baby, and then whatever happens from that point on. That's who's really getting hurt. So a lot of times my opinions, my politics don't have to do with me. You know, do I think that kids should go back to school with this COVID thing going on? No. No. Stay the fuck home, man. School's not that important. You know, last I checked, I didn't need to go to school to learn how to put food in my mouth or to piss in a fucking toilet. Yeah, I pretty much can get along without going to a fucking place where there's a bunch of other kids fucking distracting me from learning anything in a goddamn classroom from a teacher. You know, I learn so much better when I'm on the internet and I have a question and I Google it and I read about it or I look up a video and I'm sitting alone and I don't have some fucking hot ass girl wearing skin tight fucking jeans next to me fucking making my dick hard. How the fuck can you concentrate? Add to the fact that you're a teenager and your hormones are fucking exploding. You know? Oh, but go to school, go catch COVID, bring it home to mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, aunt and uncle, get them killed. You know, because COVID doesn't hurt the kids, and COVID doesn't affect that many people. It doesn't affect so many people. There's only 200,000 dead. Right? What do you care? That ass, though? I know, right? Yeah, I know. I have to remember I'm making you all laugh while I'm being serious, you know? I know, it's funny. I make you laugh on purpose because it's some of the stuff we talk about is uncomfortable, and laughter smooths it out, makes it easier to discuss, you know? That's why comedy is so great when you're looking at people like Jimmy Dore and Lee Camp, Ron Placone, Graham Elwood, Miserable Liberal, Steph Zamorano. When you're being funny, you could talk about more serious shit. Because when you just talk about serious shit, man, it's a turnoff, man. It is a, you know, you feel your blood pressure rising and you don't know what's going on, but you're feeling uncomfortable. And, you know, it's just you're like, you're interested, you want to hear it, but there's no release. But, man, Lee Camp gets up on a stage, or he's going to be here tomorrow, by the way, at 9 in the morning. Lee Camp. Let's smoke to that. Can we smoke to that? Lee Camp's going to be here tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock, and I can't freaking believe it. I got all kinds of questions for him. Are you guys excited? Lee Camp is going to be here tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Pacific Standard, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. I can't believe it's tomorrow. I can't believe it's fucking tomorrow. Oh my God. It's already here. It's like it's here. I mean, I think it might even be the next show is going to be with Lee Camp. The next fucking show I do is going to be with Lee Camp, probably. My goodness. You know, you guys need to understand, I was watching Lee Camp before I was watching any of these other people that I watch. I was watching Lee Camp for years. I'd never heard of Tim Black. I had never heard of Jimmy Dore. You know, I was watching the Young Turks and Jimmy Dore was on it, but I never caught who he was or latched onto his name when they said it. He didn't talk a lot on the Young Turks anyway. I didn't notice him. But it was Lee Camp for years. You know? Redacted Tonight. RTV. And so it's gonna be a important, huge interview tomorrow, guys. It's a big deal, and I hope all of you can make it. Let's smoke to that. Happy 420. Lee Camp's gonna be here tomorrow at 9 in the morning. Oh my God. I feel like he's coming in on a plane. And you know that feeling when someone's coming in? It's like, oh, they're coming in. Cyber Style, no law regarding cannabis. Cannabisism tis for all. Cheers, everybody. Cyber Style. Steve Running says he'll be here. Press number 1 if you're planning on being here live for the Lee Camp show. How many of you guys are going to try to make it? I know you guys will definitely be able to catch it on the website after I upload it. I hope I have all the videos, all the interviews uploaded to the website. I think I do. There should be 2 Graham Elwoods and there should be 2 Ron Placones, right? Did we have Ron twice? I can't remember, man. I can't remember. I'm so confused right now. Can you believe I don't know if I've had Ron or Graham on twice? Either one, I don't know. I know you're excited. Hippie Chick, Mary, Jonah, Nick, 420 Lurch, Jerry Whitaker. Whitaker. I'm sorry, Jerry Whitaker. Reminds me of Roger Whittaker. Dunham. Didn't he have a song called Dunham Town? I'm going down to Dunham Town or something like that. Really, Chuggles? You? Oh, you're on the East Coast, right? It'll be like noonish for you, right? What? Enoch, thank you, son. I love that your name comes up in yellow on my live stream. Kirsten says 1. Yes, you have. How's that song go? Dunham Town. How does that song go? Dunham Town. I should keep a log, you're right. Hey man, I wonder if Jimmy Dore's stuff has arrived. Yet. I sent him a 32-ounce bottle of triage oil, and man, it you know, it's not that far. It's within the state of California. They could already have it. I just don't know what the date was. I should have just checked Twitter because I told her, oh yeah, I remember now. It was October 1st or 2nd. Okay, my bad. So they don't have it. There's no way. What was I thinking? Yeah, it said October 1st or 2nd. I don't know why it's taking so long for it to get there. But, I'm trying to remember that Dunham Town song. It's like, Dunham Town, or something. Dude, Dunham Town, is that it? Huh? What? Dave Rubin took a pot shot at Joe Rogan? What? You guys like watching Kyle Kalinske at all? New bill allows people to run over protesters. New bill allows people to run over protesters. What? What? Dude. Protester? You guys, you know it's your right as an American to go protest. I mean, if you are marching, it's common for protests to march in the street. Now, you shouldn't be blocking traffic, and if a car needs to get through, you should let it by. No doubt. But if you're in a vehicle and you're approaching a protest, you should not run the people over. Okay? If they pass a law that says that, there's going to be people getting mowed down everywhere. It's going to be like Death Race 2020 up in this bitch. Hey, Jidman, where you been? I haven't seen you in forever, bro. I can't wait till my oil comes in. Hippie chick says in Florida. That's in Florida, that law? Look, we got to just go over this shit one at a time. Leave old Durham Town. That's it.
Dave Rubin.
Durham, not Dunham. Durham Town, right. No. I got to hear that shit. Durham. Wow, it's in Georgia. Dude, get the fuck out of here. Dude, I used to hear this song. I can't think of how it goes. I keep hearing, I think I'm gonna be sad. I think it's today. Yeah. That's what I'm hearing in my head when I think of Durham Town. Oh, yeah. It does sound like that Beatles song. It's funny. That's why the Beatles song took over my memory of that song in my brain, because they're similar melodies. That's crazy the way the brain works, isn't it? When you're, I don't know what I am, man. I don't know what I got going on inside my brain. I definitely got something going on inside my brain, though. All right, let's listen to what Kyle Kalinski's got to say about this shit. This is my bipolarity going on right now. I got 8 things going on.
Is still on quite the character arc. Everybody knows his story. He started out as like a TYT host and was a left-leaning guy, and then slowly but surely he had this political transformation where he went from left-leaning guy to like classical liberal, as in
classical.
I view myself as moderate, and then it was like classical liberal and I'm just going to be a conservative. And now it's like he's the most standard doctrinaire, down the line, reflexive, reactionary, unthoughtful Republican. That's what he is.
Unthoughtful Republican.
So,
how does that happen? Look, I'll tell you guys, I've always been a Democrat. My whole life, I was a Democrat for years and years and years and years and years. Party line fucking Democrat. Okay? I moved to California. And I listened to what Bernie Sanders was saying, and I became an independent progressive. Okay, so the reason I went from Democrat to independent progressive was because the Democrats were not pro-gun like I am. They were also pro-industrialization. They weren't paying attention to climate at all. And I was starting to have problems with that. But the progressives, you know, they're talking about Green New Deal. Bernie Sanders is talking about Medicare for all. Andrew Yang was talking about universal basic income. Give credit where credit is due. All of these progressives had these ideas that I agreed with. So I became a progressive independent of any other political party. I'm just out there, man. I'm just out there, and I'm listening to what everybody has to say. And listen, that's what progressive independents should do, but there's a lot of them, like Kyle, that refuse to listen to certain things, like the People's Party formation is one thing. Or, you know, I don't see him having a lot of conversations with people on the right, you know, and he should. He should have way more conversations with people. Not debates. No, you sit down and you have a conversation and you listen to their opinion and you tell them your opinion and you don't try to prove them wrong and you don't try to outdo them. And you have a conversation and it starts there with the visible leadership of the party, not even politicians, but pundits and people who are versed in political science that are out there putting their opinions out there. Those are the people you should be listening to. Noam Chomsky, you know, down to Kyle Kulinski and everyone in between, because they're not looking for your fucking vote, people. They're not asking for your fucking vote. They're just giving you their opinions.
Now he's taking shots. This is a thing with Dave Rubin. It happens all the time.
Cheers. No longer going to get bottom of the hour. No longer going to get
close with somebody, or he'll try to get close with somebody, and then like the tiniest thing that he views as a slight, and he goes nuclear. And really difficult guy, you know, to deal with behind the scenes. I knew him and was friendly with him for quite a while. It was weird in the aftermath, for sure. But other people have told stories too. Like, I believe I've heard Chris Reagan tell this story about how, like, the most mild critique of Rubin imaginable, and then, like, Rubin would reach out through back channels to, like, pressure other people about Chris Reagan. He was like, what? Like, he tried to reach out to his podcast host buddy or something, and, like, say, like, look at what this guy's doing. Like, almost like trying to find some way to punish him or whatever. He does this really weird Machiavellian back channel, like, high school level petty stuff. Well, now he's going after the big dog. Who's the big dog? Joe Rogan. Big man on campus, #1 podcast in the world. Rubin had been on it a few times. He hasn't been on it in quite a while. Let's see what he had to say.
Look at it this way. When you see all of these people now...
Hey, do you guys mind if I do my Kermit the Frog impersonation when I have Dave Rubin on my show like this? Is it okay if I talk more like him? Is that cool, guys? Do you mind if I start talking like Dave Rubin does?
Supposedly moving from California. They can't take it anymore. They're moving from California to Texas. Well, often we know they export from California and then import it into the red states, all of these blue ideas and these bad ideas, and then they turn states blue. So, you know, if I was the average Texan conservative, I would be pretty worried when, say, Joe Rogan, I like Joe, but, you know, when Joe Rogan, who was a Bernie supporter, he's fleeing California to set up shop in Texas, right. And you're excited because it's kind of cool that Joe Rogan lives there, but it's like, he's gotten the big ideas wrong, and you have to be worried about that. That's not a shot at Joe Rogan personally, but that's just a reality.
I like how he slips in at the end. That's not a shot at Joe Rogan personally, it's just the reality.
He's fleeing.
To this point,
fleeing
he
California.
hasn't said anything negative about Joe. Now,
dude, let me ask you guys a question. Okay, Google. Cannabis legalization status in Texas 2020.
Here's what I found.
Is cannabis legal in Texas? No. and Joe Rogan decided to move there. What's he want to be like Mike Tyson and not smoke cannabis anymore? That's weird. I just think that's weird. Isn't that weird, guys? Don't you think that's weird? Isn't it weird that you would leave a state with legal cannabis? I just think that's kind of weird. It's weird. Weird he would go to Texas.
He is. Why? Because it became clear to him that Joe ain't ever having him back on his podcast. That's dunzo, son. That shit has sell. Now, why isn't Joe having him back on the podcast?
Look, Kyle Kalinske is not polished comedy. He's got this kind of like fucking, it's like, look, I don't know if you guys are familiar with fraternities and shit, but he's like fraternity funny. And let me tell you something. Fraternity funny is funny as fuck. And he does it well, man. It's just it's not like adult comedy. It's not high school comedy. It's like, yeah, I'm in college. I learned how to be funny here, and that's basically where I'm at. And it's good, and it works. I laugh at him all the time, and it's stupid shit.
Listen, all of this stuff is public. You don't have to take my word for it. You can see the record. You can see it unfold. But there were a few times in podcasts where Joe Rogan would say these things where it was kind of clear he was talking about Dave Rubin, even though he's too nice of a guy and he wouldn't say it. But, you know, he argued, man, I like having people on from across the ideological spectrum. Listen, he's friends with me, and he's friends with Ben Shapiro. How is that possible when Ben and I disagree on 98% of stuff? Because Joe is a very curious guy, and as long as he feels like somebody's telling the truth, he wants to hear him out. As long as he feels like somebody's not a grifter, he'll hear him out. Well, he's on to Dave Rubin, and it became clear that Joe thinks Dave Rubin is a grifter and an airhead. And so there were a few times in various podcasts where he would make this argument. Like, as long as I think you're telling the truth, I'll have you on. If I think you're a grifter, that's when I got to cut you off. And it was so clear he was referring to Rubin without actually saying
right, and I knew that.
Rubin's name.
Right, I always knew that,
and
too.
This happened a number of times.
I thought about it.
There was this famous argument back and forth that Rubin and Rogan had on their last podcast that they did. And,
you know,
it became clear that Rubin really was...
When Joe Rogan has the singer on, that's the UFO conspiracy guy, and he's got like that organization that researches UFOs, and the guy is a fucking whack job. I mean, he is a fucking full-on, you know, beach boardwalk fucking moron, that guy. Like the kind of guy you'd see out there on the boardwalk just fucking wandering around. That dude. You know, crazy morons that when I see that Joe Rogan has them on, I'm just like, dude, why don't you have me on your show? You have all of these people who are so full of shit. Ben Shapiro is a straight up fucking liar. He wears a yarmulke on his head. Okay? He's got a yarmulke on his head. He believes in the God. He's showing respect to the God. You have that fucking liar on your show, you know? And then you get that UFO guy, and you get all those other UFO guys on the Rogan show. But not the guy who understands cannabis better than anybody else on the goddamn internet. Not the guy who's fucking figured all this bullshit out. And I'm not talking about growing it either. Maybe one day I'll get there. I'm talking about the history of it and understanding why we are where we are today because of the specter against cannabis and the perpetuation of the fucking words that people like Kyle Kalinske and Joe Rogan, you know, they insist, you know. Oh my goodness. How dare they not be able to use their precious fucking pot, weed, marijuana, reefer, and dope words, you know? I got nothing, guys. I'm sorry. I've got nothing. I don't even know. Was I even just talking just now? I don't even know. Why is this thing paused?
It's not playing with a full deck in that conversation. You know, the whole the debate was on like regulations, and Joe was like, listen, man, I work construction. You can't tell me that these guys wouldn't cut corners. They absolutely cut corners, and you need the regulations to make sure that they don't. You can't have a water line close to, you know, the electric, and it's just, it's insane to not have regulation. We need regulation to prevent a lot of damage from being done.
That's how he feels about cannabis.
And Ruben was in a corner, and he's basically like,
we need regulation.
Joe,
You know,
I think that, you know, ideologically,
look,
it's not that what, and it's just, it's insane to not have regulation. We need regulation to prevent a lot of damage from being done.
This is how Kyle. This is how Kyle Kalinske feels about.
He's basically like,
this is how Kyle Kalinske feels about cannabis.
Damage from being done, and to prevent a lot of damage. It's just, it's insane to not have regulation. We need regulation to prevent a lot of damage.
Hey, Gene.
It's just, it's insane to not have regulation. We need regulation to prevent a lot of damage from being. It's insane to not have regulation. We need regulation to prevent a lot of damage from being done. To prevent a lot of damage from being done. Not have regulation. We need regulation to prevent a lot of damage from being done.
That is exactly how Kyle Kalinske feels about cannabis. We need regulation to prevent damage from being done. So, let's play a little game. There's 27 people in here. Almost all of you are very familiar with cannabis. I want you to tell me, and he's not referring to cannabis right now, but that's how he feels about it. So I want you guys to tell me all the damage that cannabis would do if it wasn't regulated. Go ahead and tell me. And I'll respond by telling you that any of that damage could be addressed by another law not regarding cannabis.
And Ruben was in a corner, and he's basically like, you know,
Quarter of the hour
I think
soon,
that,
no longer
ideologically,
cannabis. Cannabis isn't
it's not
to your
that,
cyber style.
what I'm trying to say is that I really like that idea in theory of deregulation. In theory, intellectually, that's the thing that makes sense to me. And Joe's like, he's got this look on his face, like, what are you talking about? Then there was this famous moment where they were talking about the United States Postal Service, and Ruben says basically how bad of a job they do and that it should be totally privatized, and then he accidentally makes the argument the United States Postal Service is actually awesome because they delivered like live animals to him or something like that. But I guess he messed up and thought United States Postal Service was UPS, not USPS. And so he ended up giving credit to the government while making a point that government sucks, and everybody on the internet was like, oh my god, you're the dumbest person on the planet, oh my god. So anyway, it looks like Joe Rogan really caught on that this guy is not playing with a full deck. He's not all there. He's an airhead. He's also just looking for an angle. You know, I think I've told this story publicly before, but I'll never forget. The only person in this business, right, the political commentary business, or whatever you want to call it, the only person in this business who I had a conversation with, where I really thought, like, that was a weird thing to say, it was with Dave Rubin, because Dave Rubin one time said to me, what's your end goal? What's your end game? TV show? And I thought, like, I like doing what I'm doing
Iceman, cheers.
for the sake of doing it. Like, I'm not trying to get from point A to point B personally.
Here, let's stop.
Let's
go. Yo, Jay Kishabi, HTD for life, hashtag, says this. Wants to fucking start this conversation. Says, underage use should be restricted to medicinal, in my opinion, and I think that is about the only regulation on it I have heard from Kyle. All right. In your opinion, underage use should be restricted to medicinal. Why? Why? Go ahead. I'm gonna play more Kyle while you tell me why, okay? And we'll have this conversation, because you're gonna fucking lose and you're gonna love it. You're actually gonna. People love losing to me on this. You're gonna want to lose. Trust me. It's going to be painless.
I'm doing what I want to do and what I like to do.
But answer my question. Why should children be restricted to medicinal and regulated by the government to tell them what child should and should not have access to cannabis? Go ahead.
I'm talking about all these important issues, and that's what it's about. It's about following the news,
Quarter of the hour. Cannabis
talking
is
about
just for all.
what I
Cheers,
find
everybody.
interesting and what I think is very
Cyber
important,
style.
and sharing that with all of you, and running my
Cyber
mouth
style.
and giving my opinion.
Patience.
That's what it's about. But I like it for what it is. I'm not trying to get somewhere like, oh, I'm miserable now, but maybe I'll get to this place where then I can be happy and I've made it. I never thought like that. That's careerist garbage. But Dave Rubin asked the question, expecting me to be like, yeah, oh, the ultimate goal is a TV show, Dave. Yes, what's yours? And that's when I had my first reservations of like, oh, okay, so this guy's he's always scheming, plotting, trying to get ahead, trying to play the game, trying to get somewhere. It's never about what you're doing right now. Feeling that there's value in what you're doing right now. It's always got to be some sort of official recognition from some of the higher-ups, whether it's a big network or the other people who are more famous than you. This is, again, a big theme with Dave Rubin. So Rogan caught on to the fact that this guy's not a guy that he would get along with or like. And
right. Yeah, there is. There's some indication of brain development issues with heavy use by children. They can lose up to 6, count it, 6 points off of their IQ. Okay. Over the years, since I was a child, you know how many points off of my IQ I've lost? Let me do the math. Hold on. I'm so dumb I can't even fucking do the math in my head. All right, this is how many points I've lost. Dude, 11 or 12 years old. It was, I was in fourth grade, I believe. So I don't know how old you are when you're in fourth grade. I was in fourth grade in Orlando. I got tested. I got my IQ. I've lost 30 IQ points since then. And it's been a slow decline in my IQ as I've taken IQ tests my whole life. And I've watched my IQ drop over time. It's a decline, It literally drops as you get older. Mine has. Is my life not fulfilled? Am I not able to think for myself? Am I not able to sustain the things that a human being needs in order to have a happy, healthy life? Fuck no, man! 6 IQ points you're worried about? From a study that, let me tell you something. It says the IQ, but did you ever think that maybe it's just the fact that people who use a lot of cannabis have short-term memory loss, so that would affect your performance on an IQ test, where sometimes being able to remember something helps? Did you ever think about that? So, over your 6 precious IQ points, it's worth giving the government control over your children's lives? Go ahead. I mean, I allowed my children. You gave your children alcohol, and you're worried about cannabis? Do you know what alcohol does to their brain? Do you know what it does to their liver? You know, if you get them addicted to alcohol, if you even give them the notion that drinking alcohol is okay because mom and dad are giving it to them, man, who am I talking to right now? This is fucking insane. You realize that alcohol is literally poison. It's used as an antiseptic for things like surgery. You're giving your children that to drink, and we're having a discussion over 6 IQ points? Is it worth it? Is it worth the 6 IQ points to give the government control over your children? You want the government to tell you how to fucking raise your children? You want the government to, do you realize that by what you just said, you should be in jail? By what you just said to me, you should be in jail by the very laws that you're trying to push on everyone else. You're the one that broke the law. You gave your children alcohol. Hey, you guys, if you think I've won this argument, press number 1 for me right now, as quick as you can. Who's going to get me high? Who's going to be that? Because it's 4:20 in Newfoundland. I need that 1 so fast. So who thinks I won this argument by pressing 1 for saying I won? Steve Running, thank you, my friend. Stephen Running, thank you, my friend. Who else is going to press 1? Yeah, and that's anecdotal, Jay Kishabi. It's anecdotal. So your kids don't drink, it doesn't mean that somebody else's kids aren't going to go drink when they do what you're talking about. You know, I'm talking about everybody. I'm not just talking about your kids. I'm talking about everybody. You know? When I say access for all, okay, those last 3 letters, that's what I'm talking about. Not just your kids. Look at all the people that think I've already won this argument. Nobody wants the government to tell them how to raise their children or what medicines they're allowed to give their children. You want to break the law when your child has an open wound and is in pain, and you want to put something like this on their skin, but you want the government to tell you, no, it's got some THC in it, and you can't put that on your child. You want that control? Of course you don't. Nobody does. That's just silly. That's why this argument is 1. That's why everybody's pressing 1. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. They're like 1. He won. He won. He won. He won. He won. He won. 1. 1. 1. Public enemy number 1. 1. 1. 1. 1. Yeah, boy! All right. I agree in philosophy, but most parents don't research in this country. I did, and I pressed 1 first, if you noticed. No, you didn't press 1 first. Steve Running pressed 1 first. It was Stephen Running. Stephen Running pressed 1 first. Boom. See? Look. Who pressed 1 first? Who pressed 1 first? Stephen Running. You weren't watching the chat. See right here, the chat? See this? See this? That's the chat. See who's first? Stephen Running. He beat you by fucking 3 seconds, bro. He beat you by 3 whole seconds, man. His connection's way better than yours. Either that or his fingers are faster or his brain works faster. All right. You agree in philosophy, and you should agree in philosophy. No, it's okay. It's okay. We make these mistakes with lag and shit. But I make a good point, don't I? I make a really good arguable point that you don't want the government, you know, you want the government forcing vaccines on your children? Let me tell you something. If it's those vaccines that stop valid viruses, you know, like the polio vaccine, and you know, I'm not talking about forcing a yearly flu shot on anybody. No, I'm not talking about forcing COVID-19 shots on anybody. No, I'm talking about just vaccinations to stop the spread of known viruses that absolutely work. I don't mind that being mandated by the government at all. And too goddamn fucking bad if you don't like it. That's my opinion. But, man, people who are anti-vaxxers, man, I see where you guys are coming from. I do, man. I understand. Look, we've got a trendy, you know, and she says that it was right after her child got vaccinated that they fell ill and died. You know, I can't just say that I've never heard of that happening now. And I can say it's anecdotal, but it's a friend of mine. It's somebody I love, you know? And it made me stop and realize my position now. She had come in several times, probably heard me talking about it, where I was still speaking out against it, about people who are anti-vaxxers. And I realized she was in listening and she may have gotten upset or whatever. And it was through those times that I realized, hey man, her child died. Who am I to say it wasn't the vaccine that did it? You know, it's not me. I can't do that. So I realized I had to change my position on that somewhat. And I have. I've shifted. I understand people that say, look, this has happened. I'm not comfortable with it. I understand, man. I understand. I even understand that guy who says he wants to spread them out. I listened. People, you know, that I respect were saying, this guy's fucking crazy. And I was going, yeah, no, he's not crazy. You know, there's something to giving a child 7 or 8 vaccines in one session compared to doing it over the course of a year that I would see a benefit to. You know, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a vaccine specialist, I'm not a scientist, and I'm in no place to talk about this. But as a layman and someone who's uneducated in it, you know, I'm just like, yeah, I mean, it would be nice, you know, if maybe it would be stressful on a child to give them all of these vaccines at once. So I understand that, but I'm like I said, I'm in no place to fucking say. I'm willing to listen to what people say a lot more about very, very, very sensitive topics. And it's okay, man. It's okay if you're on one side of that or if you're on the other side of that. I don't have kids. But you know what? You know, the woman who is going to convince me to impregnate her and give her children could be watching this show right now. It's possible. You know? And then, boom, then what? I'm supposed to fucking decide this shit. You know, I've always said, I'm not having kids. I don't want fucking kids, man. Fuck that shit. I don't want kids. I give you a million reasons not to have them. I've laughed at people who've had them, said you made the wrong fucking decision. And over the last 9, 8 years, I've been exposed to children. And, you know, watching them grow up and watching them learn and watching them, you know, experience life for the first time and shit. And it's changed my opinion about children completely. You know? So many people come in here and they're like, oh, you make such a great father when they see me with the dog. You make such a great dad. The evolution, man, you know, the journey, it's interesting and it's fun to watch. I hope you guys enjoy it.
The next thing that came out was Dave Rubin
Top of the hour
was talking to
I'm
his
all
audience
packed
during
up.
a Q&A, and he said, hey, listen, we've been reaching out to Rogan nonstop to try to get on to promote
Cannabis
Dave's
is
new
a
book,
for all.
which, by the way,
Cheers,
is terrible.
Cyber style.
There's a million.
Cyber style.
There are conservative outlets that did reviews of the book that were like, this is incoherent garbage, and I hate it, and it makes conservatives look bad. Conservative outlets are saying that. So Rubin was trying to get on Rogan to...
God, I didn't say I wanted children. You know, you always come in here and do that, hippie chick. You always put words in my mouth. I don't want kids. Take that shit back. You're so presumptuous and wrong. You're not listening to me. Why would I want kids? The world's fucking on fire. Texas is in line for drought. And then they're going to find out. No doubt. Who knew that was coming? I know who knew. Enoch knew. That's who. Enoch knew. That's who. Enoch knew. Enoch knew. Enoch knew. That's who. Enoch knew. Enoch knew. Enoch knew. That's who. Enoch knew. Enoch knew. Enoch knew. That's who. No, it's not what I said. I said the woman that's watching that could convince me to, have children with her could be watching this right now. I didn't say I want kids. I don't want kids. I do not want kids. I could die tomorrow, Then what kind of a father would I be? Well, I tell you what kind of father I'd be. I'd be a great provider. At least they'd have cash. All right, so let me just see if they changed Jimmy's Where's Jimmy's fucking Oh, attention, there it is. Attention, Jimmy. Attention, Jimmy. It's October 1st or 2nd. Let's see. Delivered! Oh my god, it's fucking delivered! On the 21st? Holy shit! Holy shit! I can text Steph Zamorano like she's my buddy. I can text her. Oh, someone texted me. What? Okay. Come on. Come on, Steph. Be on Twitter. Come on, Steph. Be on Twitter. Are there... Jimmy Dore's still live, guys? Psh, unreal. Fucking A. Psh, unreal. No. Fucking A. No. Damn it, dude. Damn it, dude. Damn it, dude. Damn it, damn it, dude. Damn it, dude. Damn it, dude.
That there are other colors in the spectrum. I don't know. It's kind of frightening. But
Damn it, dude.
We'll see how it goes.
Damn it, dude.
I want to talk about this this bill that's been proposed in Florida by Governor DeSantis. Which his name is very close to D-sanity, which...
D-sanity? Is that a word? That's not a word,
would work, because it's... I assume that would be the same as insanity. But Governor DeSantis has put forward a bill that is to criminalize protests. These bills are being pushed around the country. And this one's particularly hilarious and wonderful. It allows, among other things, the running over of protesters and such. I'm going to get into reading some of the details of what this bill proposal says. This latest attempt to make protest illegal. Because let me just say this up top: when it's becoming more and more clear by more and more people that they're becoming informed and they're realizing, hey, the emperor has no clothes, and they start yelling, oh, the fucking emperor has no clothes. And more people start seeing that, and they start saying it. Then the ruling elite, the establishment, have to find ways to do two things. One is stop them from saying that. So
I gotta send him the
book.
I gotta send him the book.
And another,
I gotta send Lee Camp the book. I gotta get his address.
And, lock them up. for saying the emperor has no clothes. This is a corporatocracy that does not answer to the people, and so that's why you're seeing this increase of laws against protesting around the country. So this is the latest one down in Florida by Governor DeSantis, basically a Trump protege, I think is what he is. And I'm going to read you some of what's in this bill. And also the ACLU's response to it. By the way, I want to thank Jason Yon for alerting me to this latest bill. So thanks for that. So here's what the ACLU down in Florida says. Governor DeSantis' proposal is undemocratic and hostile to Americans' shared values. This effort has one goal: silence, criminalize, and penalize Floridians who want to see justice for Black lives lost to racialized violence and brutality at the hands of law enforcement. Also, I do find that there's a real problem with the fact that it's very tough to say Floridians, and I feel like it'd be even tougher.
Floridian. Are you a Floridian? Are you from Florida? Oh, I'm a Floridian. Are you a Floridian? I'm a Floridian. I could say Floridian. I used to be a Floridian. Now I'm a Californian.
Firmly protects protests, even when, and especially when, they challenge government policy. You don't think? Really, that's one of the main fucking reasons for protest, is to challenge government policy. I mean, if you have, let's make a protest legal unless you want to challenge government policy. Well, then what the fuck are we protesting? We want more flavors at the ice cream parlor. Let's all get out in the streets and demand. We need another flavors because there's like 6 and we want 9. So challenge government policy and express dissatisfaction with the status quo. Instead of acknowledging, again, this is the ACLU, instead of acknowledging and addressing police brutality and violence in our state, Governor DeSantis wants to use his power to throw more people into the criminal legal system by enacting overly harsh criminal penalties for protesters who are exercising their constitutional right. Oh yeah, that's right. It's in the Constitution, isn't it? That it says right there, right to assemble, right to get together and say fuck you.
You know, the thing, Jake Kushabi, was you only chose one sliver of the entire gamut of no law regarding cannabis. Otherwise, you were totally on board. I just had to convince you of one thing. You know? It's your children. It's your decision. You have control over that. You don't need the federal government to stop you from doing that. And what if you pass a law that says only medical uses and your child starts having seizures? So now you have to take your child into the doctor or the hospital and have them diagnosed and wait to get your prescription. Whereas if you knew that cannabis could stop a seizure, you could be at home stopping your child's seizure by yourself, not worrying about someone else, telling you how to do it. And so many other things as well. But like I said, I've got 50 topical uses. I've got 50 topical uses for this stuff. Look at that honeycomb. God, that's beautiful. A doctor once saw that and said, ooh, look at those evil faces in there. Look at the evil faces. Where's Chuckles at? Evil faces. Look at all the souls I've captured inside my jar. All of these. I should go put this in the fucking freezer. Jesus Christ. Dude. It needs to stay just. I should get my thumb off of there. I'm going to warm it up. You're going to melt the faces. You're going to melt their faces. Don't melt their face. Listen, I need to send Lee pain oil. Yeah, I sent him a message when he comes on Zoom tomorrow morning. I'm gonna ask him, dude, can I get your shipping information? I want to send you my triage oil that Ron Placone, Graham Elwood, Jimmy Dore, Steph Zamorano have all been raving about. I want to send you a whole bunch of this stuff for free, bro. I want to hook you up with t-shirts. What's your t-shirt size? I want to send you stuff. I'm totally gonna hook him up with that. I'm gonna say, I need your information so I can send you this Emperor Wears No Clothes book.
That's kind of in our Constitution, right? We were kind of real clear on that. Exercising their constitutional right to take to the streets and demand justice under the guise of protecting public safety. By the way, anytime you see awful laws passed, it's always to protect public safety to make things cleaner.
Dude, I got the chat going on Lee's video, and over here you could see Steve Running saying, "Looking forward to seeing you Wednesday on Nays Garden." Fuck yeah, Steven. You rock, bro.
Sanitary. It's for public hygiene and health. Whenever awful shit's going down, it's always for those same reasons. But, and of course it's bullshit. Under the guise of protecting public safety and residents, this proposal would deny fundamental due process to protesters by eliminating their right to bail, which is another aspect of this bill that's proposed. Instead of addressing the violence protesters in cities across the state have been subjected
I think
to,
it's today.
not perpetrating, but subjected to at the hands of law enforcement. DeSantis is doubling down on disdain for
the girl
dissent.
that's driving
This
me
is
mad
not what
is
democracy
going
looks like.
away.
So that's the ACLU. Now let me read you some of the things. And by the way, some of you might be in Florida. Some of you have nothing to do with Florida.
She's got
This
a
is not just
ticket
happening
to
in Florida.
ride.
These laws against protest
She's got a
have
ticket
been
to
put forward in various
ride.
states, mostly
She's
Republican
got a
states, maybe
ticket to
exclusively. I'm
ride.
not sure about
She
that,
don't
but,
care.
Republican-run states. And to stop protest, and of course, the Democrats don't like most protests either, especially ones that get in the way of, let's say, pipelines and oil and gas and those things. But these bills are mainly being put forward in Republican-led states.
Dude, hippie chick's chat just came across and said, "Hippie chick, free Julian Assange. Nays Garden sent me here. Looking forward to Wednesday." Dude, are you fucking kidding me? You guys, look, I'm gonna show you guys this. Psst. Nobody shows you guys this shit anymore, pal. Psh, unreal. I'm freaking out right now. You guys, something's about to happen. Things are about to happen. Psst. So what's this one doing here, pal? Nobody does it like that anymore. Psh. Get rid of it. What's this one? Psh. Unreal. Nobody does that anymore, pal. Get rid of it. Psh. Unreal. Dude. Look over here. Look at this. Look up here. Look up here. Look up here. Look at this. Steve Running. Look at this. Hippie chick. You guys, it's 7:10. We got to smoke and celebrate. I'm so excited that you guys did that. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited right now. I'm so excited. I'm so excited that you guys did that. Oh my God. Let's smoke.
And I don't know that these were written by Alec, but Alec is a well-known
Happy 710. No law
that
regarding cannabis. Cannabis
basically
is just for all.
puts
Cheers, everybody.
forward bills in state houses around the country, and because lawmakers are both idiots and sociopaths, and many of them, and lazy is another one. They're lazy. They want to spend their time calling to get more donations. Both idiots. And I don't know that these were written by Alec, but Alec is a well-known institution that basically puts forward bills in state houses around the country. And because lawmakers are both idiots and sociopaths, Alec, but Alec is a well-known institution that basically puts forward bills in state houses around the country. And because lawmakers are both idiots and sociopaths, institution that basically forward bills in state houses, and many of them, and forward bills in state house. both idiots and sociopaths, both idiots and sociopaths, both idiots and sociopaths, both idiots and sociopaths forward bills in state houses around the country. And because lawmakers are both
idiots and sociopaths. Him and I, lawmakers, politicians. Hippie, look at hippie chick over there with the chat. Today's garden. It's going by.
Both idiots and sociopaths, and many of them, and lazy is another one. They're lazy. They want to spend their time calling to get more donations rather than having to write bills. They often will take whatever Alec gives them, and they'll just scratch out the name Alec and write their name at the top. So that's how you end up with similar bills around the country. Things like ag-gag laws that try to make it illegal to film factory farming because they know that if it's filmed, it is so fucking repulsive. It is such a crime against living beings that no one would be okay with it. Even those who are like all into, fucking, I love to have a steak and then I stick it inside a turkey and I stick that inside a duck and I wrap it in bacon and then I smother that in bologna. That's what I like to call baloney. Even for those people, if they saw those videos, they'd be.
Oh, that fucker got me with bologna.
But so that's one example of how these bills get put forward around state houses across the country. But let me read you some of these, some of this insane act put forward in Florida. It's called the Combating Violence, Disorder,
almost softens
and
the
Law
blow.
Enforcement Protection Act.
His
Yeah,
shit
the
hits
law
so,
enforcement really needs protecting. Law enforcement across the
his shit hits so hard that even his fantastic comedy, when he's hitting the best, it just softens the blow slightly.
countries had a real tough time recently, haven't they? They need some protection is what they need. Guess what? It's already illegal to assault a police officer. That already exists, okay? So to be like, they need some protection, no, it's already illegal. All this extra shit they're adding on is just to make protest illegal. So here are some of them. New criminal offenses to combat rioting, looting, and violence. Prohibition on violent or disorderly assemblies. Third-degree felony, these are felonies. Third-degree felony when 7 or more persons, 7 people together is really threatening. 7 or more persons are involved in an assembly and cause damage to property or injury to other person. 7 people? So what if you just an outdoor orgy, all right, and someone gets injured, which happens because you're often twisting in very unusual ways. So does that count? There's a 7-person assembly of sorts. But here's the other thing is when they say and cause damage to property or injury, a lot of these protests have been infiltrated not just by police. Sometimes plainclothes police will be joined into the protest so that they can try and steer where it goes. But you also have them infiltrated by things like the white supremacist groups, the Proud Boys, or the other boys. I don't know why they all have boys in the name like they're little children. I mean, they are infantile, but anyway. You have them infiltrated by those type of people who are trying to create violence, cause harm. They want that shift in a peaceful protest to shift towards breaking windows so that it's easier to arrest people. That is a useful tactic for those who want to stop protest. So you all often have that, and then that's what the cops can do. They can do that very easily. Let's say there's a peaceful protest demanding that there be an investigation, like there was in Denver the other day, investigation into the killing of an unarmed black person, and the police don't like that because it makes them look bad. So what do? Well, an undercover cop or whatever joins the protest, breaks the window. All right, now that whole group, let's say it's 1,000 people, are part of a property damaging protest, a violent protest. And we could have a whole other debate about how property damage is not, equivalent to injury to humans. Property damage is, the way they define it is a brick through a window. They don't define damage to property when the banks repossess your house, which arguably far more damage to your property is when it's stolen from you by a big bank. But that's not called property damage, right? Let's keep going. Prohibition or obstructing roadways. Third-degree felony to obstruct traffic, which, by the way, traffic does not own the roads. These cities are ours. They are the people's. They are not just the cars. They are, which the same could go for why, there should be bike lanes everywhere, and it should be legal to ride your bike on the street, because cars do not own these spaces. Just because a road is paved doesn't mean, cars can go down here 100 miles an hour. Doesn't matter if they run over a fucking baby carriage. Just, it's their space. No, it's not. It's still, the road is still part of the city. It's part of everyone's space. It is a shared, communal space. And that's how it should be treated. So the obstructing traffic should not be illegal. But third-degree felony to obstruct traffic during an unpermitted protest. And this permit shit is another way that they try and stop protests, because a permitted protest is not really a protest, is it? A permitted protest is a talking to the authorities and asking what's agreeable for them. Will it be okay for you if we come down for an hour and tell you that you fucking suck balls? And then we'll go home after that hour and we'll head on back to our houses quietly after we've made it clear that you suck of the balls. No, permitted protest is not a real protest. It's it's a demonstration of some sort. You could say it's a little festivity, maybe a little parade, but it's not an actual. You're not actually interrupting business as usual if you have a permit and everyone agrees. This is where we'll come stand and be friendly. Okay, traffic during an unpermitted protest, demonstration, or violent or disorderly assembly. Driver, and then they add on, tack this on, driver is not liable for injury or death caused if fleeing for safety from a mob. Now, let's take these things piece by piece and see what this really says. A mob, in legal definition, is anybody you don't like, right? You got 5 people over there. Oh, they're Eagles fans. Well, I don't like fucking Eagles. That's a mob down there. Look at them, that mob. Whereas 5 of you and your friends, that's not a mob, right? That's just a group of cool people hanging out. So mob doesn't mean anything. It sounds really scary, a mob, but mob doesn't mean anything unless legally it's fucking anyone you don't like. So you can call anything a mob. I mean, I think Congress is a mob, okay? They're a very violent. I mean, if you want to look at stats, number of people killed, Congress and our government is one of the most murderous, killing, violent mobs you've ever seen. So they're a mob. So take the word mob out because it's meaningless. Fleeing for safety. Well, what does fleeing for safety mean? If you were defending yourself in a court, well, you could argue anyone in a car is fleeing for safety from the mob. You've already defined this protest, peaceful or otherwise, as a mob, and therefore, if you're driving away from it, you are fleeing it. So really, with all that terminology, it sounds very scary. Fleeing from a mob, none of it legally means it could be anybody driving. So what this sentence really says is a driver is not liable for the injury or death to a protester, period. End of sentence. Meaning, people could drive through protesters legally, murdering people legally. This is fucking horrific, okay? It is, and obviously we've seen this happen. I know it sounds ridiculous, but we've seen it happen. We've seen it happen in Standing Rock, where the people drove through the protesters and some were injured. And we, of course, saw it in Charlottesville, where a woman was killed. And I was 5 feet from that, and it was fucking terrifying and terrible. It was a terrorist act. That's what it should be. And now the guy from Charlottesville is serving, I think, a life sentence for murdering someone for a terrorist act, which is what it he should have been charged as a terrorist act. So that's how it should be. But if this law had been passed in Charlottesville at the time, that guy would be legally get off. Now, of course, it was his intention to run people over, but could they prove that? Or would they just say he was fleeing from a mob? It completely allows anyone to fucking harm protesters and get away with it. Let's keep going. Second-degree felony to destroy public property during a violent or disorderly assembly. That's increased the prohibition. I didn't read the title. Prohibition of destroying or toppling monuments. So now it's a felony to bring down. Well, if this were to get passed in Florida, it would be a felony to bring down a monument because they consider that destruction of public property. Now, keep in mind the monuments that have been torn down are of Confederate soldiers and generals. So, weren't they involved in the destruction of people? I think they killed a lot of people. So, I think that's something that should be talked about, right? Why did they get a statue? Anyway, they're increasing these crimes to a ridiculous level on top of everything else. Prohibition on harassment in public accommodations. First-degree misdemeanor for a participant in a violent or disorderly assembly to harass or intimidate a person at a public accommodation such as a restaurant. All right, so think of the word intimidate. What does that mean legally? That basically legally means you're like, fuck you. That's intimidation. In Denver, they're trying to prosecute someone for destruction of property and intimidation because he grabbed a fascist sign and ripped it up. A sign supporting, fascism. And the idea of intimidation. Well, guess what? I'm intimidated when police kill people. I'm intimidated by police because they run around killing people who are unarmed and posing no threat. So can I just say I'm intimidated by police and then they get a misdemeanor? No, I don't think so. This bullshit only applies to people who are protesting because the state wants to shut you up. The corporate fucking state, the right-wing monsters in charge in Florida want to shut you up. And it's amazing because this should go for anyone, right? There are right-wing protests. There are Republican protests. They shouldn't like these laws either because these laws are bad for them too. It makes illegal their right to assembly as well. Let's see, a couple more, then I'll wrap this up. But let's see, there's increased penalties for striking a law enforcement officer, which was already illegally. I mean, it was already illegal. You didn't have to, they don't need to keep adding shit on. Let's make it more illegal to strike a police officer. But of course, as a lot of people pointed out, and has happened again and again, people often are getting tackled by police. And A, they don't know what's happening. B, they don't know why they're being tackled. So then the police claim that that they were struck or whatever, that they were punched. The woman who at Occupy served a year in prison for striking a police officer because she was grabbed from behind, didn't know who was grabbing her, swung her elbow around, and hit him in the face.
Look, guys, I want to go out there and watch the sunset. I watched it last night. It's beautiful. So you guys take care. No law regarding cannabis. And I'll see you in the morning for this guy right here, Lee Camp, man. 9 a.m. my time, Pacific Mountain, Pacific Standard, whatever they call it. And then Eastern Standard Time is going to be noon. This guy right here, Lee Camp, he's going to be here tomorrow. Next time I go live. All right? So I look forward to seeing all of you guys right here. Okay? That's my cat. Okay, that's my cat. So, no, it's not my cat. It's not my cat. My cat's inside. Huh. Might be a deer coming up. All right, so, ronplacone.com. Ron Placone, it's at Ron Placone on Twitter, Ron Placone on Facebook, Ron Placone on YouTube. Get your news on with Ron Placone on Instagram. Please follow Ron Placone and tell him that Nave's Garden sent you. He's a fan of cannabis just like us. He supports Triage Oil on his show. I should probably be sending him some more soon. I wonder if he needs some. I should ask him how he's doing. All right. You guys. Maybe I'll just send him some without asking. Take care, y'all. I'll see you tomorrow for Lee's interview. It's going to be fantastic. Okay. Bye-bye. That's right. Free Julian Assange. Everybody change your avatar to Julian Assange's face on all social media and put it in your name, Free Julian Assange. All right. Bye, guys.